This is me holding a Vietnam War veteran hostage because I am secretly spying for. Hold up, who was I spying for again? Oh no, I'm becoming Joe Biden. But first, context. The Pacific Front has peaked in 1943, and in case you slept during history class, the Pacific Front is mostly known for hosting the naval warfare between the American Navy and Japanese Navy during the time period often known as World War II. But this isn't a history video, but a gaming one. I spawned in the harbor and attempted to jump onto a ship, which failed miserably. For reasons related to the quantum freezing point of David Bazooka, I didn't fall through the water. This meant that I had the contemporary advantage due to plot armor. I then decided to become a stowaway on this boat. But don't tell anyone. This is a two secret of the American high-ranking Colors, or HRK for short. After that secret incident I began operating the turret but made the mistake of clicking space. Upon committing the act of respawn I decided to enter the carrier instead. But a good sign was the fact that the Americans captured Island A. But for those who never played this game before, here's what it means. Imagine this boat represents America and this one represents Island A, the island closer to America. If the Americans get the island first, which they usually do, then they claim it as their island, and can spawn aircraft and people on the island. This island is Island C, which is closer to Japan. If Japan gets the island, which they usually do, then it is their own and they can do the same thing the Americans can do. But then we have Island B, which is located between America and Japan. Whoever reaches this island depends on speed. Let's say Japan gets there first, then they own the island and can do whatever they want. But then let's say the Americans invade the island and boom the Japanese. If they this, they have to stand in the center of the flagpole until the island had enough and gives it to the Americans. This can go on and the Japanese can claim the island and kick out the Americans and vice versa. Not just that, if the other team lets their guard down they can capture Island A or C, and the main point of the game is to bomb the other team's harbor to absolute perfection until they have had enough and commits the act of the white flag. Did I forget to mention the amount of guns in this game? The boats have guns. The planes have guns. Even the people have guns. It is impossible to attack alone. Which explains why teamwork is the dream. Well, anyways, it's time to get back on track. Speaking of back on track, I am back on track to hit the milestone of 1,000 subscribers. If this reality becomes reality, then I will make a special video and nothing else. Sorry mate. However, who I won't be sorry for is this man. As proved in the Build a Boat episode, I have exquisitely refined boatmanship skills. However, this man decided he was better and he could drive the ship. I didn't see a certified license, so who knows whether or not the whole crew is in grave danger.
Shut your ugly mouth, blood. I have had 68 years of training in the Navy and have fought in Vietnam. You have no idea who you were talking to, enlisted sailor. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a boat to drive.
Okay brew, your cup of tea will be arriving soon mate. However, a cup of tea won't be enough to stop the Japanese all-out assault on Island B. My brilliant sacrifice for my country shall not go to vain. The Americans have asserted dominance on Island B, and since I have died, that's the end of this vid. But did you forget the trick up my sleeve? I was playing in Roblox, allowing respawn. Upon returning back to the carrier, I was happy the so-called Vietnam War veteran had quit his position as captain. I was happy, until I noticed the health on the carrier. I shouldn't have trusted him from the beginning, he just wanted some free tea. I immediately observed my surroundings to see what has happening. A Japanese carrier appeared to be the root cause of this problem. They were probably laughing hard as they trolled the Vietnam War veteran. So I began taking leadership and instructed. But as it turns out, all of it would be for nothing. As the health entered the negatives, boat began to sink. If we didn't want a recreation of the USS Arizona, I better get out of here. So using the power of Enderman I teleported to Island A. I will not let the Japanese get away with the sinking of the Vietnam War veterans carrier. I summoned the 12th collar carrier of Amok. After getting Dominic XD on board, we set sail. Our destination? The Japanese harbor. It's time for round 2. It was smooth sailing from here. I discovered that the Vietnam War veteran was actually Dominic XD. As we were nearing the harbor, we met resistance. This time, the Japanese will be the ones to get obliterated. Their boat sank and I directed my attention to the incoming kamikaze. This is a bad sign of, I neared the harbor and did damage. The first one of the round. This meant that America was winning. Or so we thought. Island B was left uncaptured, and the people on the island lost all connection with us. This meant a special forces squadron was sent to free them from the Japanese. While this was happening, me and Dominic XD were blowing up nearby ships. Even the submarines got involved. But a downside of this was our health bar. I abandoned my post and prepared to jump onto Japanese territory. But I got Vine Boom instead. This only fueled me to destroy the harbor even more, so that is what I did. After teleporting to the Badger 14's carrier, I was ready to begin my 17-step plan to become the captain of the ship without anyone noticing. But I didn't even need to. Someone going by the name of decided to plant the idea of spawning a plane, fly to Japan, shoot the harbor, drop the bombs, and crash the plane. And then repeat, until the harbor is unrecognizable and is officially part of Joey Bidenuka's country. So that is what I will do. It was time for gaming. I got in my bomber and got ready to fly. Ho ho ho, ready to fly, ho ho ho, re he ha memer moment, ha ha ha, ready to fly, so funny, ha ha, memer moment, ha ha, yes, meme, ready to fly, such a meming moment, ha ha. All jokes aside, I began the journey of 3 minutes and 37 seconds to the Japanese harbor. There was barely any resistance, and when I got close I began shooting the harbor, dealing damage. I then dropped the bombs, which dealt insane amounts of damage. This proves that I was not only a boat captain, but a plane pilot as well. I'll call her out. Anyways, I crashed the plane, purposefully, to respawn back at my harbor.
You harborer, I think you meant our harborer. I have joined your merchants to fight off the Japanese, so, do you have any vodka?
Okay geez, I didn't know the Soviets were getting involved in this as well, man. I then repeated this process again, and got Japan even lower. I even got in someone else's plane and offered to drive, which got rejected. However, their plane we got intercepted by the Japanese and fell to the seafloor, proving I am the best pilot here. Pretty soon, Japan was on their knees. I even rushed headfirst into a barrage of ammunition being exchanged between both parties, and somehow came out alive. This proved my excellent gamesmanship for my country of America. Speaking of which, this happened. America had beaten Japan. This was the end of World War II. We have won all the losses: the Vietnam War veteran, Dominic XD, the Soviet soldier, the Badger 14, collar and muck. Their sacrifices will not be in vain. Memorials will be built in Japan and America to remember them. Speaking of Japan, we have to negotiate the peace terms. I traveled to Tokyo to negotiate the terms. Japan will be under the West Japan Company, and I will own the West Japan Company. What's weird is, John Foster Dulles, who was traveling with me, said in another world Japan surrendered because America dropped 2 nuke bombs which destroyed entire cities. I called him crazy because there was no such thing that powerful, right? Right.